The vetting of Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department officials begins today, just days after President Cyril Ramaphosa announced it. The department has been at the center of testimony before the Madlanga Commission, which is probing political interference and corruption in the criminal justice system. Several witnesses have alleged that senior EMPD officials were involved in criminal activity. During his State of the Nation address on Thursday, President Ramaphosa announced that the State Security Agency will now vet all senior police officials. Newzroom Afrika's Ziniko Mhlaba is on the story. He joins us live from Alberton in Ekurhuleni. Ziniko, good morning. I suppose this is a welcome move, many will say, but perhaps critics will argue that it is a bit late. Should this not be how we conduct business with police officials?
Well, there are indeed those critics, Michelle, which have been directed towards the city itself. You also remember that the EMPD investigators who appeared before the commission last Thursday did say that they did their investigations. They came up with recommendations, and some of those recommendations included, the necessity to take disciplinary action against several officials, especially within the law enforcement agency, which is the Ekurhuleni Municipality Police Department. They said that the attitude they had received from the city officials at the highest level, they made mention of the fact that at some point they had requested to have a hearing with the mayor and the city manager, and that's the former mayor now who was holding that position before Mayor Kakaza. So they're saying that they did not get joy in terms of why their recommendations were not implemented. So that's what has brought us here today, with the president announcing that, well, indeed, State Security Agency will be overseeing these proceedings that are starting today. And I can confirm, Michelle, that, the city officials, especially the management who have been tasked to manage this process, the city manager specifically has just walked in right now. This is the motorcade. He has already arrived, but also there are law enforcement officers who are already queuing outside the premises where we are. Unfortunately, we cannot show their identities, but it seems as if the proceedings are going to start timely as they were scheduled to start at 9 o'clock. But what is happening right now? City management from different departments are already inside, getting a briefing from the officials who will be conducting this particular vetting in terms of the mechanics, how it's going to be done, and who is going to be, being vetted today, which group is going to start. As we had said in your intro, it's going to be they will be starting with top management officials of the city of Ekurhuleni, and then they will go down to the lower levels, or the officials who are in those lower levels. And I must also state that, when that first interim report was released by the Madlanga Commission, the city manager, alongside the mayor, came out saying that they support and they welcome those findings which were made in that interim report, saying that as the city management, they'll do all they can to ensure that they protect the integrity of the city. And we saw them as well, saying that they will appreciate this vetting process, which is now, which is taking place today. When it was first, made mention of that there is a need to vet the officials from this city. But also, we were outside one of the bases of the EMPD early in the last hour in Vosloorus, and the people who were actually greeting us were asking us what were we there for. When we told them that we are doing a particular story that involved law enforcement agencies of the EMPD, a lot of people appreciated that, saying that it's been a very long time coming. They've been abused along the roads by officials who were asking for corruption, for inchoncho, or whatever they call it. So it's as if it is a welcomed move, but we have not heard much from the unions, especially the South African Municipal Workers Union, in terms of their response on this matter. So after this process here, Ekurhuleni will try to reach out to them to get a sense whether they are welcoming this move that has been taken by government entities after the Madlanga Commission, but also if they have any concerns towards this process, and whether they've received any objections from the workers themselves, because they are represented in the city by SAMU and other trade unions which are affiliated to municipality workers. So we'll get that view from them later on during the day. But I can confirm that the city officials have arrived. Some of the officials of EMPD are waiting outside. So the briefing is taking place. So once that briefing is done, we'll get a sense and a briefing we'll get our own briefing as members of the media, and we'll get more insights in terms of what's going to be happening today, how many are going to be vetted, which departments, and at what level. So that process is going to be taking place any moment from now on, but we'll definitely get a briefing just before 9:30 or after 9:30.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see as well, Ziniko, what comes out of this vetting process and how transparent EMPD and the SSA will be.